Okay, welcome everyone. Let's get started. Today's topic is mastering the art of MLS searching. Okay, friends. So today is going to be a very powerful session because my objective today is to find a great, awesome deal from the MLS. And not only that, but we're going to make a live offer and try to get it on the contract. If we get it on the contract, then the next steps are to follow through either with a buy and hold, fix and flip, or a wholesale. Okay, so first of all, before we get started, one of the things that you as an investor needs to understand is that 90% of ordinary real estate investors spend their time on non-productive tasks. So I'm going to show you the 3% where you need to engage. The time that you have in your hands have to be spent in these 3% of the activities that will make you money, okay? And in a nutshell, the activities that we need to engage in that will make us money is on getting great deals under contract. Anything else that you do is going to be overhead. I'm sure, obviously, we know we need to create a company and so forth, but what's going to make you money is making offers and getting them on the contract. So friends, having said that, let's just dive into it. But before we start making offers, right, and trying to get properties on the contract, number one thing that you need to understand is area selection, okay? And before we dive into the area selection, I just want to give you an overview of market conditions, okay? Because market conditions are going to be critical. You need to understand the market conditions before you start buying. So this is what you need to understand. The market swings in the winter. That's when you want to buy properties. Why? Because you can buy them at a discount of about 10 to 15%. Whereas if you buy them in the summer, you will pay a premium of about 10%. So let's assume the property is worth $100,000. If you buy it towards the end of the fall and the winter, up until January, February, you can expect to pay a discount of about 10%. So a property of 100,000 market price, you can get it for 90,000. Okay, but if you buy the property in the summer, late spring in the summer, expect to pay a premium of about 10,000. So you will end up paying about 110,000. So be aware of that. Not only that, but what's really important about market conditions is that when you buy the property in the late fall, early winter, the advantages are that you can do the rehab during the winter time, okay? And maybe you can run into the early spring. So the objective is to put the property in the market in early spring. Like by end of February, March, that is the best time to put the property for sale, okay? So that you have enough time to either rent the property or flip the property. So you have not only the spring, but the summer, okay? Because once you hit August, September, families need to be settled, right? Because kids go back to school. So that's not the ideal time to put a property for sale. Not only that, but the holidays are coming, right? Like Thanksgiving, and then people start thinking about Christmas, New Year. So you want to avoid putting a property for sale or for rent in late fall, early winter, okay? Because that's going to increase your market time, and therefore your holding and carrying costs are going to go up. So remember, you need to be aware of market conditions. Let's try to buy in late fall, early winter, okay? Not only that, but that's when most serious buyers are out there, okay? So you're expect to get a discount. Now, the next thing that it's important for you to understand is area selection, right? So one of the mistakes that we've made in the past that I want to share with you so you do not make the same mistake is for you to understand where you need to buy, okay? And the way we've done it is we've analyzed over 200 areas in Illinois, and we rank them by area type. So we have A, B, C, D. So A being the best, right? Like Glencoe, Wilmette, Northbrook. B is the bread and butter. That's where you want to focus, like Berwyn, Cicero, Bellwood. And then you have the C area. The C area is going to be a little bit more challenging. Those areas are right next to the B areas. So a C area would be, for instance, Maywood. Okay, and then we have the D areas. The D areas are not the best. So those, we like to call them like war zones. Your safety is at risk. That's where other people think that your car is theirs. So we don't even go there. We don't like to risk our safety. So we like to stay in B areas. So having said that, friends, the second rule of thumb that you need to understand is from where you live, draw a 10-mile radius, okay? I'm gonna show you the website that you can use to draw the map, a 10-mile radius from where you live. Because anytime that you go beyond 10 miles, the rehab, the management becomes a challenge, right? Even, your contractors, they may not go that far away, right? So if you're very scattered, you might need to find other contractors. We've had the case in which many of our contractors, they say, oh, Hugo, sorry, we don't go that far. Especially like HVAC contractors, roofers, they like to stay within a certain area. So if you, where you are, just draw a 10-mile radius. There are tons of deals, friends, and I'm gonna show you today, even from the MLS. So once you draw the 10-mile radius, make sure you stay within the BC areas, okay? Bread and butter, BC. And not only that, but the sweet spot that we're gonna be focusing on are properties under 150,000 because the numbers are gonna work the best for a buy and hold or a fix and flip. The minute you start going higher than that for the purchase price, the numbers start to get tighter, especially if you're going to do a flip, okay? Not only that, but the holding expenses are higher, so the risk goes up. So we just like to keep it simple and then stick to 150,000 purchase price and then under 1,500 square feet. Now, why the square footage is important? Because you might be in a B area, okay? Let's talk about, for instance, Bellwood, okay? You can be in a B area, but guess what? There are properties that are 4 or 5 bedrooms that are over 1,500 square feet. The reason why we don't pursue those properties is because of the rehab cost, okay? So the way we assume the rehab is that you need to touch pretty much kitchen, bathroom, walls, flooring, and then we have a rule of thumb, just multiply the square footage by 2, and that's gonna be your rehab. So let's assume if the square footage is 1,500, you're gonna spend about 30,000 for the rehab, right? But anytime you go beyond 1,500 square footage, let's say 2,000, I've seen properties 2,500, right? So your rehab is gonna be close to 50,000. So once your rehab takes that much money, guess what's going to happen? The time for the rehab is just going to double. So instead of doing the rehab for a 1,500 square footage property in less than 6 weeks, now you're going to take 2 months, 2.5 months, up to 3 months, right? Not only that, but your carrying cost goes up, your rehab expense goes up, and guess what? You're still in a B area. So it is not worth it. You're gonna make the most, maximize your investment when you stick to properties under 1,500 square footage and under 150,000 for both buy and hold and fix and flip. Okay, so having said that, friends, let's just dive into the system right now. Let's go over one area, Bellwood. So I want to make sure that you can see my screen. Let me share my screen, make sure that you see my screen. Can you confirm that you see my screen now? Because I'm going to open up the software at this point. Okay. So let's open up ChicagoDealVault. Please, via chat, confirm if you see my screen, everyone. Oh, perfect. Okay, so let's open ChicagoDealVault, and in fact, let's do a quick analysis. Bellwood. Okay, that's a B area. We have a couple of properties there, and it's hard to work with the village. They're very strict, but guess what? The rental market is very, very strong. Not only that, but rents are high. So, and then property prices are still very reasonable. It's a B area. Okay, so let me log in. And let's go to the area reports. And let's just quickly analyze Bellwood. Okay, she's logging in or what? Processing. Okay, sounds good. So I'm gonna go to area reports, and you can follow these. So in your computer, you can do the same thing. So we're gonna type in Bellwood. Okay, somebody's making a note. Can you provide? Okay, there's a question. Can you provide a categorized list of all the A, B, C, D areas? So we have a spreadsheet. If you are a Blue Angel member, I'm going to show you that spreadsheet. In that spreadsheet, you can categorize the areas. Like we have over 200 areas. So we're going to be able to filter them by area type, like A, B, C. So please remind me to do that tonight. So Bellwood. So let's pull up Bellwood. Okay, so now let me maximize the report. Let's quickly look at the geographic location. Okay, so right here, it's a fairly small area. So one of the things that we highlight for you are factors observed that can change or affect your property values. One is train tracks and highways. So you just need to be aware of that in Bellwood, okay, when you purchase, because that's going to affect your property value. Now, here, the livability, let's quickly go over that. So amenities, cost of living, crime, education, employment. So whenever you see Fs, that means that it's not the best. It's not good. Education or create schools, employment, that's source of employers are not that many. So let's dive into the details. So crime, it's slightly over the average. So the red line denotes the average, so it's slightly over. Let's scroll down to the schools. So when you see the schools in red, that means they're not the best, okay? When they're black, they're good schools. 7 out of 10 for good schools. Now the household income in Bellwood is slightly below the average, which is 57, and Bellwood has 50,000. So why is this important? It's important because the higher the household income, the easier is it for the easier it's going to be for families to pay top dollars for your flip or pay higher rents for your property. So that is a great indicator for that. Then let's look at population growth. So population growth, it's negative 6%. So that means that 6% of the population is moving away from Bellwood, okay? Now, industry, this tells you about what type of employers there are. So you can go 21%, as you can see, there are schools, hospitals. Now, let's go down, housing occupancy. In here, renters are 23%, vacancy 10%. So we don't like to go into areas that have a vacancy of higher than 10%. And then owner occupied, it's 66%. So the higher the owner occupancy, the better, because then there's more pride of ownership. Now here we put Bellwood as a C area. So these are the areas that we're gonna stick to, BC areas. So we're gonna stay away from D and we're gonna stay away from A, okay? Just BC areas. So here we recommend an approach for cash flow and flip. Now let's dive into the numbers, right? So we do a sales market analysis in the last 12 months. So this is gonna tell you what's gonna be the sweet spot to buy. We're gonna focus on single family homes. So I'm gonna scroll down to the bottom, and as you can see in green, the sweet spot to buy a single family home is under 124,000. So this is the price range that we like to see, right? We don't want to go over 150,000. We need to stick to less than 150,000. And then one thing that is very important is market time. As you can see, it's only about 2 months, okay? There are other areas where properties sit for even half a year, like Flossmoor. It's an example of that. So in here, we're gonna scroll down. As you can see, there are quite a few flips for single family homes. So a lot of flippers in this area. Why? Because the properties don't take too long in the market. So that means that people are buying into the area. And then let's look at the market, at the rental market. In this case, properties stay in the market for about a little bit over a month. And now let's look at the rents. So the rents, as you can see, are fairly decent. So for a 2-bedroom, 900, for a 3-bedroom, 1,300. So your numbers for cash flow are gonna work great when you purchase a property below 150,000. So here the rents could end up being high and they tend to stay in the market for about a month and a half. Okay, so having said that, friends, let's dive into it and find some great deals from the MLS, okay? So in here, what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna select, not zip code, I'm gonna select the cities. So here it's MLS search, but it's by default, it's open. So I'm gonna put in for the city, I'm gonna type in Bellwood. Okay, Bellwood. And then the sweet spot to buy is under 124,000. So I'm gonna put 124,000 as the price cap, okay? Now we're interested in the active listings. So as you can see right here, I'm gonna check active listings. Anything that is pending or contingent, that means that it's under contract. We don't care about sold properties. And then remind me to talk about canceled and expired listings, okay? Because that's a great lead pipe for getting properties that are now off market on the contract. So remind me to talk about these. And then single family home. We're gonna focus on single family home and then find deals. Okay, so here, this property I happened to see yesterday online in one of the alerts. So let's look at this property because I believe this property has great potential. Okay, so first of all, does it meet the criteria that I told you, under 150,000? Yes, it's active for sale for 89,000, right? And then it's been on the market for only 3 days. Now let's take a look at the features. So this is a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, 778 square footage. So this is a small brick home, okay? But this would be a great property for rental. So now let's quickly take a look at the pictures and see from the inside. So it needs for sure bathrooms, kitchen. Let me go back to the kitchen. So the kitchen needs to be redone, appliances, painting. We don't know the condition about the windows, roof, or mechanicals. Okay, so what we're gonna do is quickly run the numbers. So the first thing that you need to know, friends, just look at the property on the map right here. So as you can see, we need to make sure that it's nowhere near train tracks or highways because that's going to affect the property value. So far, location is great. So the second thing that you need to do is you need to know how much can you sell this property for, okay? And you know, that is one of the problems that I have with the MLS. So I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna log on to the MLS and we're gonna do exactly the same thing, right? As if you were a broker. So brokers, this is what they do, right? So they log on to the MLS and then it's like jumping into the ocean, right? Because here it is humongous and there's too much information and not enough details that you can analyze a deal quickly. So I'm gonna do the same search. We're gonna focus only on active listings. Okay, and then in Bellwood. So I'm gonna select Bellwood. Okay, awesome. And then we're gonna put an app. Okay, so search price, no more than 124,000. Okay, and then search. View results. Okay, so we see the property. Is this the property that we saw in ChicagoDealVault? Let me go back. No. Let me put all the active. View results. Okay, so it's right here. Oh, it's new, that is why. I just put active, but this is new. Okay, so in here, look at this. So you see the property. It's the same information that we show in ChicagoDealVault, but it's like the ocean, right? There's so much information, and then the next question is, how much can I sell this property for, right? So if I buy this property and I rehab it, how much can I sell it for? So pretty much I froze, right? Like about 2.5 years ago, I froze. How much can I sell this for? So if you're an agent, a broker with access to the MLS, guess what? It's gonna take you about 20 to 30 minutes to do a CMA, okay? A CMA, it's right here, CMA, that it stands for comparative market analysis. So that's how you need to find the comps. So in ChicagoDealVault, that, let me tell you, with a click of a button, just seconds, I'm just gonna scroll down and then click on search. Okay, that's all I need to do, just to find the comps in Bellwood, and boom, there are 2 comps, okay? 2 bedrooms, 1 bath. So if I was to do it through the MLS, it would take me like 15 to 20 minutes to do it. That is why this is the first thing that you need to do in ChicagoDealVault. Find out what the ARV is. So update the ARV right here. So check this out, friends. 166,000. This property is for sale for 89. And guess what? This is an MLS property, okay? So believe it or not, you can find still awesome deals on the MLS. Now let's quickly look at the comps, right? So I'm gonna click on this property, which happens to be like right next to it. Okay, so let's just scroll through the pictures. I think it doesn't, it looks, okay, so the pictures are bad, but the kitchen looks nice. So it's got stainless steel appliances, granite countertop, but it's not, it just doesn't look that appealing. I mean, but it's been rehab. So that property, you know, if I scroll up, guess what? That is like right next to the subject property. So in here, I'm going to maximize or zoom in. You see that? So the blue properties are subject property. And the one that we just looked at is the comp. So that property sold for 159,000. So friends, to me, this property catches my eye, right? Because right off the bat, if we rehab this property, guess what? We could potentially sell this property for 166,000. So, and again, MLS property. So now the next question is, how much are we going to spend on the rehab, and how much should I offer for this property? So let me show you a rule of thumb. Okay, we're going to do the full analysis on ChicagoDealVault, but I just want to show you some shortcuts, which by the way on ChicagoDealVault. So we're going to show you the max allowed offer. So that means the most you should for this property, depending on the strategy that you use. So if you use a buy and hold strategy, fix and flip, or wholesale, we're going to tell you the most you should pay for that property. That's in the system, Nick. But for now, I'm going to use the calculator. So the way you do it is you take the ARV, the after repair value. So after we do all the repairs, we could potentially sell the property for 166,000. Now, this property, this area, we recommend either buy and hold or fix and flip. So let's assume we're going to do fix and flip. So the formula is you take the ARV times 0.70%. That is for the fix and flip, okay? So why 70%? Because 20% is your profit when doing the flip, and 10% is accounted for closing cost and carrying cost. Like the principal, interest, tax, insurance, utilities. So that is 10%. Now, why 20% for the profit? Because when you're going to do a flip on a property that is worth 100,000, you have to make at least 20,000. Otherwise, it's not worth it, friends. So if you're going to sell a property For 200,000, you need to make 20%. So 20% of 200,000 is 40,000. If you don't hit that target, friends, don't even bother, because if something goes wrong in the rehab, or the property stays longer in the market, guess what? That's going to eat up your profit, and it's not going to be worth it. Okay, so make sure that 20% return, it's not worth it, friends, but you can do a buy and hold. So for this matter, right now we're at 116. Now we need to subtract the rehab amount. So we have a rule of thumb that works amazing for BC areas. So the way we do it is we take the square footage and we multiply it by 2. So like $20, right? So in this case let's assume that it's 800 square feet. So 800 times 2, it's 16,000. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I like to put a cushion into it. So 16,000, I'm gonna add, usually I like to add 5,000 for the oops factor, in case, we need to, let's say, do something big, like maybe we need to replace mechanicals, or we need to replace a couple of windows, we need to patch the roof. So we're gonna add 5,000. So that is 16,000. So 800 times 2, that's 16,000 plus 5, 21,000. So I'm gonna count at least 21,000 on this tiny little property. Okay, so I'm gonna subtract 21. So this is gonna tell the most you should pay for this property. Okay, so right now it's for sale for $89,900. So friends, even if we were to pay $95,000, this would still make it a great flip. Okay, and mind you, this is an active property on the MLS. Now let's do the buy and hold. How much should we pay for the property if we're going to buy and hold the property? So when you do the buy and hold, the analysis is more forgiving. So we have more flexibility. In this case, let's take the ARV. Okay, we're going to multiply that by 80%. Okay. Okay, so there's a question on the line. So the comps have, the 2 comps that we're looking at have 1.5 bathrooms, and ours has 1 bathroom. So that's a great question. So definitely we have to account for that, for the half a bathroom that we're missing in this property. So in this case, we can knock off at least 5,000 for the lack of a half a bathroom. Okay, so that was a great point. So let's do the flip analysis again. So I'm going to multiply these. Well, 166, I'm going to knock off 5,000 for the lack of bathroom. So we won't sell this property maybe for 166. Let's sell it minus 5. So we can sell it for 161 times 70%. Okay. And then we're going to subtract the rehab. So we said 21,000. So the most you should pay for this property is 91,000. So almost, if you were to pay full asking price for this property, the numbers would still work. Okay, the numbers will still work. So friends, even if we make a full price offer, the numbers are going to work for a flip, and you're going to be making a 20% return. So if you sell the property for 161, we should be making somewhere in the 30s. Okay, net profit. Now, let's do the buy and hold analysis. So I'm going to take the same approach, 161. I'm taking off 5,000 for the lack of half a bathroom, times, instead of 70%, 80%. Okay, so what that means is 10% is going to be our equity. When we buy the property, we need to have at least 10% equity. The other 10% is going to be for carrying cost and closing cost. So now we're going to subtract the rehab, so 21,000. So the most we can afford to pay for a buy and hold is 107. So we still have quite a lot of room on this property if we were to do a buy and hold. Okay, 107. So make sure you keep these numbers in mind, because I'm going to ask you for those. So buy and hold, make sure you write these down, 107. And then for the fix and flip, about 91,000. Okay. Now, if we want to do a wholesale on the property, then the formula changes slightly. So it's 161 times, we're going to multiply this by 65%, okay? Because you need to have you need to allow somebody to do the fix and flip or the buy and hold profit. So the 20% plus the 10% for the carrying cost plus your 5% commission on the deal for finding the deal. So you're going to be making 5% on the deal. So in this case, you need to get it on the contract. If you are going to wholesale the property for 104 minus 21, so you should get a contract for 83,000. So if you want to do a wholesale on this deal, you need to get it on the contract for 83,000. Otherwise, your finder's fee of 5% is in jeopardy. Okay, because if you want to wholesale this to an investor, which is a mistake, because an investor needs meat on the bone, right? So they want to hold, so they're just going to pay you a finder's fee of 5 to 10,000. But in this case, for this price property, it's fair if you make 5%. So 5% on $90,000 property is about 4,000. Okay, so make sure that if you're going to do a wholesale, we shouldn't pay more than 83,000. So now let's just verify those numbers in the calculator very quickly. So let's do a buy and hold. Okay, so in here, we're going to put in for the utilities, maybe 120, maintenance, maybe 75 a month, or yeah, 75 a month. Management fee, we're going to manage this property, insurance about 60, taxes 291. Now, we're going to pay the most we should pay for a buy and hold. We said it was going to be, I believe, 107 based on our calculations. Okay, so let me just, 107. Let me put 107, 1, 2, 3. So that is just to confirm the numbers, right, that we ran. Now, the rehab, we put in about 21,000. And then let me quickly calculate. So if we run those numbers, the positive cash flow on the deal is going to be about $400, $394. So friends, this is paying 107 for the property. Obviously, we're not going to pay 107. So I'm going to put in the number for the fix and flip. So the most we should pay for this property is 91,000, which is over asking price. So now look at this. If I calculate, now look at the cash flow, $463 per month. So this property is going to cash flow like no tomorrow, because look at this. For that tiny property, the rent is at least $1,400, believe it or not. So Bellwood has high rents. Property values are still reasonable, friends. That is why, to me, this is a great market, because we're going to be targeting properties that cash flow at least $400. So friends, check this out. Even if we were to pay 107 for this property, 1, 2, 3, and put in 21,000, okay, for the rehab, we would still cash flow our criteria. So this matches our purchasing criteria. Does that make sense? And look at this. So in the rehab, we're very for a buy and hold, this is very conservative, between 9 to 15,000. I'm putting 21,000 for the oops factor. But this small property, you shouldn't spend more than, for sure, 16,000 or so. But we're being very conservative, 21,000, friends, okay, for this small property. And the numbers are going to work amazing for a buy and hold. Now, let's do the fix and flip. So for the fix and flip, the property is going to sell for not 166. We said 161. Let's do that. 161. The rehab is going to be 21,000. 1, 2, 3. And then holding time. So this is a good point. Why 4 months? Remember that when we looked at the Bellwood report, this tells us how long the property is going to stay in the market. So if we buy and hold, if we flip the property, it's going to stay on the market, average sold market time in days, 2 months, okay, a little bit over 2 months. Now, it's going to take us about 4 to 6 weeks to do the rehab. Actually, for this small property, it shouldn't be more than a month, but we're going to be conservative. 6 weeks for rehab, and then another, so that's month and a half and 2.5 months for the market time. So this is fairly accurate, 4 months for the holding time. And then commission, 5%. Now utilities, we're gonna pay for the utilities when we flip the property. So 120 just for gas, electric, water. We don't touch the insurance or the taxes. That's fairly accurate. Now, how much are we gonna pay for the property? We said that for a fix and flip, we shouldn't pay more than 91,000. Okay, so if we put 91,000, let me see, I believe there's a question on the line. Can you do that again? Okay, got it, perfect. So somebody got it, awesome. So 91,000, and then let's click on calculate, okay? So let's see what the net profit is. So the net profit is 38,000 on the flip. Remember what I told you, you should make no less than 20%. So 20% of 160, it's 32,000. So I told you we're gonna make 32,000. So all the numbers, you can make 38,000. So friends, this is an awesome deal everywhere you look at it. Either if you're gonna do a buy and hold, fix and flip, this makes sense, this property in Bellwood. So having said that, friends, I think we should go ahead and make an offer on this property. What do you guys think? Can you send me your opinion via the chat? We should try to get the contract. So, and then once we get on the contract, we can do just about anything with it. Okay, so I'm seeing yes. Yeah, make the offer. Okay, so let's do that, friends. So let's make an offer. So what I would like to do, so here, we need to make an offer. Now the question is how much we need to make an offer for. So I see a lot of comments on the chat. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so let's make an offer. So let me tell you the way I like to do it. So what I'm going to do is before making an offer, I like to call the agent, the listing agent, to build rapport, okay? Why? Because let me tell you, it is super powerful. Once you build rapport, many listing agents, okay, are going to tell you confidential information about their client, believe it or not, even though that is unethical, many share confidential information. You may wonder why, because they just want to sell the property, okay? They just want to make their commission and move on to the next deal, right? So they're not supposed to say that. So I always like to test the waters. So what are the things that I question? So first of all, I want to make sure what they're looking for, right? So the way I phrase it is, okay, so let me click on the details tab. And then, so this is the agent, Pamela, okay, Pamela. So we're gonna call Pamela right now. I wanna build rapport with Pamela and I'm gonna say, hey, Pamela, I saw your listing in Bellwood. So have you, the first thing that I wanna ask is, have you received any offers, right? So we need to be aware of competition because we need to make a reasonable offer. So the next thing that I'm gonna ask is, we need to know what they're looking for, right? In the offer, when they wanna close, what their bottom line is. That's what I want to get at. What is your bottom line? I mean, where do we need to be to get this done? That's it. That's what it boils down to. Where do we need to be to make this work, right? Because friends, if we get this property in the contract, it's gonna make perfect sense for any strategy that we take. There are some questions on the line. Are there any liens on this property? Will this be under our name or LLC? Okay, so liens. This is an REO property. Seller will not provide survey at the end after verbal acceptance. So this is owned by the bank, okay? And then, so let's check. We can do, on this property, we can do a power search, friends, right here, to see the history of it, right? Because this seems to be an REO. Why? Because, you know, once the seller does not provide a survey, that's typically a bank. So this must be owned by a bank. So let me just quickly click on the owner loan tab. And in here, let me see what's happening. So we don't have much information on this property. So we could do a power search to get more history. But before we do that, let's just focus our time on the 3% of the activities that are going to make us money, okay? We can further do more analysis, but guess what, friends? We have enough information to make an offer. So I don't want to deviate your attention on the 97% of activities that will not make you any money. Let's stick to the 3%. And then once that we do the 3%, we can do some research on the property, but we've done enough analysis on this deal that it's going to make us money. If we get it on the contract, we're going to make money right off the bat, okay? And then I can show you how we can do further analysis on it. But when you buy an area of property, all the liens are gone, okay? So you don't need to worry about the liens. That's what it comes down to. So the next thing is, I want to call the agent. So I'm going to put the agent on the speakerphone. So the things that we want to find out is, have you received any other offers? Okay, then where do we need to be to put this deal together? That's what it comes down to. So I need to hear from Pamela what their bottom line is, okay? So in the negotiation, friends, you never, ever want to say the first number, okay? Never. Okay, you want the other party to tell you the first number, and then you go from there. Okay, so many agents, they may say, okay, Hugo, just make your best offer. I cannot share that information. That is confidential. So that means that I'm dealing with an ethical agent. Okay, so if that's the case, fine, we've done our analysis, so we can make a fair offer. But I always like to test the waters, because believe it or not, friends, there are so many unethical brokers out there, and I just like to test the waters to find out if we can get more confidential information. So having said that, friends, I'm going to make a phone call to the listing agent, Pamela, to get that information. I'm going to put her on the speakerphone, okay, so that you guys can hear the conversation. Okay, so I'm pulling up my cell phone, and then I'm going to dial. Oh, okay, so she's got one number, so it's 847 507 507 5881. Let me make sure that I reference the right address. Okay, so I'm gonna dial right now.
Welcome to Verizon Wireless. Your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number and dial again. Announcement for welcome to Verizon. Okay, guys, I think I'll write then. I'll dial the wrong number. So 847 507 5881. Okay, let me try that again. It's ringing, okay?
Hi, you have reached Pamela Rusin at America's Best. I'm sorry I cannot take a call at this time, but please leave your name and number, and I will return your call as soon as possible. Thank you. At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hi, my name is Hugo from Wholesale. I'm at your listing 51448 Bellwood. I've got a couple of questions for you. If you could please call me. My number is 773-368-451. Thank you. Okay, friends, so I left a voicemail. Hopefully, she's going to call us back, okay? If she calls me back, I'm going to put you guys on hold and take the phone call and then put her on the speakerphone so you can see the conversation. So at this point, friends, I think it's we should submit an offer for sure. So let me show you how we're going to do it. So can you please tell me on the chat how much you think we should offer for this property? Okay, again, we're going to be able to do a buy and hold and fix and flip on this deal. And even a wholesale. Well, actually a wholesale, we should pay no more than $83,000. So please send me through the chat how much we should make the offer for. So I'm going to click on make offer. I'm going to show you right here, make offer. Let's get the offer ready. So how much should we offer for this property? Okay, that's the most important question. How much? We've done the analysis, friends. So I'm seeing 89, 80K. 89, 83, 79, 80,000. Okay, so somebody's saying 89, 83, 79, 80. So let me tell you how we've done it successfully. Some said 75. Okay, so we need to make a fair offer. Let me show you something really cool. So, okay, thank you guys for your numbers. Let me show you something really cool from the area reports. So this is going to give you a great idea. Okay, so check this out. What this means is sales price, sold price versus listing price. So for single family home, 98%. So what does that mean? So that means that buyers paid 98% of the listing price. So if the listing price, let me go back to the property. If the listing price is 89,000, so 89,900, they paid 98% typically, okay, in Bellwood. So we should expect to get this property for 88. So what I like to do is, unless there is a multiple offer situation, you should never ever offer asking price, okay? Never ever offer asking price, okay? So some of you said 79, some of you said 75,000. So most of you said 79, 80, 80. I see a lot of low 80s. So I think that's a fair offer, 80,000. Most of you are saying 80,000. So that is a great number, 80,000, okay, to begin with. And then we need to get in touch with the listing agent and then go from there. Okay, but now I'm going to show you something something that is important that we do when we make an offer, because we can make an offer right now and send it to her. But many agents, they're going to ask you, so have you seen the property from the inside? Okay, and I'm like, you cannot like say, no, I haven't seen the property, because then we're going to start with the wrong foot, okay? Why do they want you to see the property from the inside? Because what they don't want is for you to tie the property, right? Because if you make an offer, right, without seeing the property from the inside, right, just to get it on the contract, and then you get it on the contract, okay, they agree, they sign the contract, and then you have 5 days for attorney review and inspection. And in those 5 days, obviously, you have to go inside the property, and then you find out that it's a total disaster, right? So obviously, you're within your inspection period, so you can back out of the deal. So that's what listing agents don't want, right? They don't want to tie up the property and then to later find out that it's not what you expected based on the pictures. So they want to make sure that you've seen the property. Okay, so what I usually do is I go to the MLS, right? And then we're going to go on their showing instructions. So right here, so what does it take to see the property? It says use showing assist. So I'm going to schedule a showing. Okay, so that is the property address. Okay, and then that's my information. So schedule a single showing. Okay, so now when? Right now, I'm going to schedule it for tonight for 8 p.m. So single showing at 8:15. Okay, so select yes. Okay, we're confirmed. Friends, please take a picture of this screen, or I'm gonna send it to you via the chat. We have the combo box to look at this property. So for those of you who wanna come, let's go check out the property for sure. And then friends, this is important. You cannot go check out the property without a licensee with you. So if you're a real estate investor without a license, you cannot just take the lockbox and then go out, right? So I wouldn't be able to just give you the lockbox for you to go check out the property, right? That is unethical. So we can get in big time trouble if we do that. So why? Because if somebody goes out without a licensee and something happens inside the property, or they steal something from the property, then it comes back to the broker, right, who gave away the combination. So this combination is for all of us to go check out the property. So we can go check out the property. once we speak with the broker, right? So I want to speak with the broker, and then if we can get an agreement to go with the offer, then we're all going to see the property. Okay, but I just wanted to schedule the appointment. So now let's go back to the system, okay? Because now when Pamela calls me, then she's going to ask me, Hugo, have you seen the property? Yeah, I'm going to say, yes, I've seen the property, okay? And then we can run and go see the property tonight while we still negotiate the deal. But I just don't want to say, no, I have not seen the property. I mean, we've seen the property from the pictures, right? But we still need to go inside the property, okay? Because in here, one of the pictures that we don't see is the basement, okay? And as you can see, this has a full unfinished basement. So definitely, we want to see the condition of the basement, right? We just don't want to go to the property and find out that it's totally flooded, right? Or see something like that is going to cost us a lot of money, such as issues with the foundation, right? So that is something very important to be aware of. But let me tell you, I'm just sharing the way we do things. So we like to get the property right away, right? And then we go check out the property. Because imagine, we make so many offers on a daily basis. So it is unfeasible for us to go see every single property, schedule an appointment, right, for every single property. We just can't do that. So we're going to make the offer when we find a great deal, because also we don't want to lose the deal, right? So that is why we must make an offer tonight. Okay, that's going to give us a chance. So let's make an offer for $80,000. 1, 2, 3. Now, when are we going to close on this deal? So we're going to be using a hard money lender for this because the property is it's not in a livable condition, right? So we cannot use a conventional lender like Chase, Bank of America. Forget it. That's what I've been teaching you guys. When you purchase the property, you've got to use a private money lender, hard money lender, right? Who's going to give you the money not only for the purchase, but also for the rehab. So here we need at least 3 weeks. We can close as fast as 3 weeks. Now, why 3 weeks? 1 week is for the attorney review and inspection, and then the bank also will order the appraisal. So that takes about a week. And then 2 more weeks for the title search, and then the time the attorney needs to schedule the closing and coordinate that with the buyer. So the soonest we can close is 3 weeks, but I like to give ourselves some room. So I always put about a month from now. So today is the 22nd. So I'm going to go to June 20, the week of the 22nd. That's a Saturday. So we can do Wednesday the 19th. So that gives us, let's not push ourselves. Let's give ourselves 4 weeks. So let's shoot for June 24th, which is a Monday. Now, Earnest Money, that's a good question, right? So people question, how much should I offer for Earnest Money? So we typically like to not offer more than $1,500, right? Or $1,000. Because when we get properties on the contract, technically you have 24 hours to deliver the earnest money once you got the property in the contract, right? So we don't like to have all this money tied up in multiple properties once we get them on the contract. So that is why we like to be conservative. The most is $1,500. That's fine. We can leave it $1,500, and then the property address. So that's all there. Now in here at the bottom, if I scroll down, these are the mortgage contingency. So what we like to do is a rehab loan. So that is critical. Rehab loan, that means that we're going to be using a hard money lender, okay, who's going to give us the money for the purchase and the rehab, and then loan to value. So how much are we going to get the loan for? I like to put 80%. So we're going to put 20% down. So on this deal, if we get it on the contract for asking price, let's say $90,000. So we're going to put in 20%. So like $18,000 plus closing cost. That's going to add maybe $3,000. So we need to bring to the table about $21,000. or so. And actually that number is in the analysis that we did. I'll show you that in just a second. So 80%, and then proration. This is bank-owned property, so they won't prorate anything over, pay you more than 100% proration. So these are for the taxes, right? Taxes are paid in arrears, so taxes go up every day. So when you buy regular properties, you want to have 105 at least, because taxes tend to go up on a yearly basis by 5%. So since you are paying the taxes in arrears, then you want to have at least 105. But for distressed properties, they won't allow you to do that. So we're going to prorate it at 100%. And then right here, these are the disclosures. So just leave it as the default. That means that we have not received any disclosures yet from the seller. And then here, that's our brokerage. Now, if you don't have a broker to represent you in the transactions, make sure you go on the preferred partners. Our main broker is Frank Montreux. Okay, so he's the South of the King, and he's got a very large group of brokers. So they can help you getting deals negotiated on your behalf. So you can put Frank's information right here. And then for funding, we can use Chicago Funding. Okay, so they're a hard money lender. They can give us the money for not only the purchase, but also the rehab. Okay, so now we can make an offer. So I'm just going to click on submit. And then boom, we generated the offer. So that has our company name, and then the property information. And then we're going to be offering 80,000, okay? 1,500 earnest money, and then we're going to close in 4 weeks, so June 24th, 2019. And then this is going to be a rehab loan, 80% loan to value, and that's pretty much it, friends. So notice that when we made an offer, we would also have the option to buy the property as is. Let me just quickly show you that, where that is. So we also have the option as is and dual agency. So in fact, I'm gonna need to redo the offer, friends, because I don't like to check this off as is unless the broker says as is. But in the description, we didn't see as is, okay? So we're gonna leave that off. So what does that mean, as is? So what that means is you're buying, what you see is what you get when you check the as is. But if the seller or the bank doesn't require that, I'm gonna leave that off. Why? Because that's gonna give us room to get some credit. So we're gonna do the inspection. We're gonna get George Haya to go out there if we get it on the contract. And then based on the report, I can show the report to the bank and say, you know, we need credit for, let's say, for whatever issues we find, right? So we can say, I need some credit. So that gives us some bargaining power. So never check as is. And then dual agency, that means that the listing agent is going to keep both sides of the commission. We don't like to do that up front. That happens once we negotiate with the broker. So for now, I'm going to leave that off. So I'm going to resubmit the offer. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my email. And then it's right here. So this is the offer. It's in my inbox. So this is the offer. The same thing. Now, the as is not checked. So I'll show you that. So if we scroll down, there is, towards the end, there's the as is clause, which it's not going to have our initials. So let me scroll down. Okay, homewood possession. As is, line 484. Okay, so if I had checked the as is, it would have our initials right here, but we don't want that. And then in the last page, it's going to have our brokerage. It's going to have Gary Davidson, our preferred attorney, and then Chicago Funding. And then this is Pamela, right, the listing agent. So this is ready to go, friends. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a forward of this email. Let me close the offer. Actually, let me close. I'm going to do a forward. Okay, let me remove these. And then I'm going to remove the bottom stuff. And then I need Pamela's email. So I'm going to go to the details and then copy her email. So I'm gonna copy, I'm gonna go back and then just paste. And then I'm gonna say, hello, Pamela, please find attached offer for your listing. Thank you. Okay, so that has all our contact information. So the next thing that we need to do is just send the offer. That's it. So you see how quickly, friends, we did it. So making an offer needs to be very fast. If you were to do it from the MLS, it would take you like 15 minutes to make an offer. In ChicagoDealVault, it just takes seconds. Okay, so we need to be very, very efficient. So the lesson, friends, is that even in the MLS, okay, we just did a quick search on give me all the properties in Bellwood under 124,000. Why 124,000? Because that's the sweet spot to buy a single family home in Bellwood. Friends, there are awesome properties in the MLS, right? And then we found a couple of more. So here, 98,000. But this one is frame, right? So I really like this one because it's brick, okay? Bricks. Brick properties are going to sell a lot quicker, so they're more marketable. And then something that I don't like about this property is what I told you before. Look at the square footage, 1,600, 4 bedrooms, too bad. So the rehab on this property could go beyond 30,000, 30 up to 50,000. So this would take us a little bit longer to do a fix and flip or just the rehab itself. And it's framed. So we like to keep it simple, friends. Like for those of you who went to the Cicero property, the Cicero property has 900 square feet, 2 bedroom, 1 bath. Okay. Oh, by the way, friends, for those of you who went to the Cicero property on Sunday, we listed it for rent on Sunday in the morning before you guys came. So somebody came, a couple came to see the property, and guess what? They applied right there. And it got rented the same day, the same Sunday. So we listed the property for $1,500. We rented it for $1,550. Believe it or not. Why? Because they have 2 pets. So what we did is we charge pet rent. So $25 per pet. So we ended up renting the property on Sunday for $1,550, friends. So that Cicero property is going to cash flow like no tomorrow. The cash flow is going to be close to 600 a month or a little bit over 600. So that was a home run deal, friends, for buy and hold. So yeah, thank you everyone for having come to the event on Sunday. And we're going to be doing more property tours. Not this weekend because we have, it's Memorial Day weekend. So people are doing barbecues, all sorts of family events. But the following weekend, we're going to take you to another property that we're going to be closing next week, in fact. So it's not rehab. Actually, it's a big mess inside, but it's got awesome potential. So friends, stay tuned. We're going to take you to a property in Streamwood, okay? We're going to do most likely a buy and hold on that property for sure. Okay, so friends, let's just quickly summarize what we did. We just did a quick search on Bellwood. Why did we choose Bellwood? Because Bellwood, it's a C area. So remember, we're going to stick to BC areas, bread and butter, properties under 150,000, under 1,500 square footage. Okay, and then this property from the MLS, we did a quick analysis. If we were to do a fix and flip, we should not pay more than $91,000 for this property. If we were to do a buy and hold, we can pay up to $107, believe it or not, $107, and the numbers will still work. What do we mean by the numbers will still work? If we're going to do a buy and hold, we need to make at least 20% return. So if we buy this property for $91,000 and we sell it for $161,000, we're going to be making $38,000 on the deal. So it's over 20%, friends. So this is a home run deal. And then if we're going to do a buy and hold, if we buy it for $91,000, it will cash flow over $400 per month. It was $463. So this is an awesome deal. So friends, in fact, if I just click on generate report, all the analysis that we did, boom, it's right here. So this is actually a quick summary. I should have shown you this report. So we're gonna be making 38,000 on the flip, okay? That's assuming we buy it at 91,000. So that's like 1,000 over asking price, right? And we're gonna sell it for 161. So we came up with the ARV of 166. However, somebody told me that the comps had half a bathroom extra. So we knock off 5,000, okay? Now, if we do a buy and hold, friends, we're gonna be cash flowing 394, okay, on the property. So we look for properties that cash flow at least 400. So by far, this property will cash flow actually more. You know why? Because look at this, property cost. We put in 107. We're not gonna pay 107, hopefully. We're shooting for 90 asking price, okay? If we pay asking price, we're gonna be cash flowing a little bit more than that. So it's gonna be like 463 or 483 actually. So it's a home run deal for a buy and hold, friends. Now here we have the comps, right? So we're backing up our ARV with the two comps that we found on the MLS. So right here, we can scroll down. So that's the subject property on the left, and then we have the two comps. So we make sure that we compare apples with apples, okay? Square footage, and so forth. So that was all of them have full basement. So this is unfinished. So here we put the comps on the map. And then we give you any further information that we might have on the property and the pictures, right, for the property. So this is a package that we put together in case that you want to present this deal to a funding partner, right? So they're going to know, okay, so you can call them and say, hey, Joe, I've got a great deal. They're going to say, okay, sure, tell me more about it. So all you need to do is send this PDF report, right? Because this has everything a funding partner needs. And let me show you something really cool, okay, about this report. And this applies for funding partners. Private money lenders are going to be looking at this ratio, okay, to get it funded. So this is called the debt coverage ratio, okay? So what this tells you is banks are gonna be looking for, hard money lenders are gonna be looking for at least 1.2. So what that means is, if it's 1.2, that means the property generates 20% extra cash than what it needs to pay its mortgage. In this case, this has 1.86. So that means that this property will generate 86% more cash flow than what it's needed to pay the mortgage. So this deal is gonna get funded like no tomorrow. Friends, if we get this on the contract, funding is gonna be a breeze. It's gonna be not a problem, okay, guys? So I just wanted to show you this report. So friends, are there any questions on the line? I haven't heard back from the agent. So before we hang up, I wanna call the agent. While I still have you all on the line, I'm gonna call the broker again. So I'm gonna put you on the speakerphone because I'm gonna call her again. So hopefully she's gonna pick up the phone and he's gonna give us some confidential information. So I'm dialing the number now.
Hi, you have reached Pamela Rusin at America's Best. I'm sorry I cannot take a call at this time, but please leave your name and number and I will return your call as soon as possible. Thank you.
At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hi, Pamela. This is Hugo again from Home First. Just to let you know that I submitted an offer to your listing in Bellwood. If you could please call me when you get a chance, that would be great. Thank you. Okay, friends, so we tried again, and then I left a voicemail. So I let her know that we submitted an offer. So, friends, I'm going to keep you posted on this deal. So the takeaway, friends, start looking at MLS deals. And something that is super powerful, friends, set up your deal alerts, okay? Go under your profile. So I'm going to go on the upper right-hand corner and go to Deal Alerts Settings, okay? So in here, put all the areas that are within a 10-mile radius from where you live, and then put in the max price, and then single-family homes. Okay, remember, stick to properties under 150,000. And what's going to happen is, for MLS, we're going to scan the MLS every 2 hours, and guess what? All the deals are going to come to your inbox, and they're going to be right here under My Deal Alerts. Okay, so these are just MLS properties that are great deal. So we're going to flag them. Like, let me give you this example. This property is active in Elmhurst for $229, and this property could be worth $378. You see that? And again, this is an MLS deal. If you were to get this from the actual MLS, that's the problem, right? You don't know how much you can sell this property for, right? You're going to see the 229, but it doesn't mean much to you, right? Because you don't know how much you can sell it for. That is the power of ChicagoDealVault, right? We're going to do the flip and rental analysis for you behind the scenes when you look at deals, which is critical, right? Because you need to have a bigger spread from the purchase price to where you can sell the property, because you need to account for the rehab. So this is a great property in Elmhurst. Elmhurst is an A area, by the way. So this is a really good area. So yeah, I can show you. Look at this. This property in Elmhurst is listed for $235. This could be worth over $300,000. So friends, start doing MLS deals. 70% of our inventory, guess what? It came from the MLS, believe it or not. So friends, start setting up your deal alerts and start making offers. That's the 3% of the activities that you need to engage in that are going to make you money. Again, I'm going to repeat this again. Start setting up your deal alerts on DealVault and start making offers. That's the 3% of the activities that you need to engage that are going to make you money. If we get that property on the contract, guess what, friends? We can even wholesale the property, maybe do like some touch-up, some cleanup on the property, and put it back on the MLS and wholesale the property. Okay, so we're going to be making money the minute you get the property on the contract, right? Because it's a candidate for a wholesale, it's a candidate for buy and hold and fix and flip. So friends, please do not go by the myth, right, that people have led you to believe, oh, you know what, MLS is saturated. There are too many people looking at properties. Oh, well, there might be thousands of people looking at properties, but guess what? They do not know how to analyze properties. They do not know how to find the golden goose. And right here through ChicagoDealVault, we're telling you this property has a big potential, right? Even without being a broker. So take advantage of it, friends. There are tons of awesome deals still in the MLS, okay? I want to repeat that again, including Andrew Holmes. Over 60% of his inventory came from MLS, okay? So friends, you've got to continue to look at MLS properties. Obviously, ChicagoDealVault, one of our strengths is off-market deals. But today's topic is MLS. So make sure that you start setting up your alerts and start making offers just like we did, right? Okay, so friends, thank you for joining tonight, and have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend, and stay tuned for the next mastermind and the next property tour. Thank you, everyone. If there are no further questions on the line, I'm going to check the chat. No further questions. Let me see. Okay, friends, hold a second. There are a couple of questions. Thank you. Thank you. Just a reminder. Okay, so yeah, no further questions. Okay, so awesome, friends. Thank you for joining, and have a great weekend.